the final video that I really want to talk about is what happened with this young man, a young 40 years old, who self-terminated, and it definitely got more views than my commentaries normally get because it's a very touchy subject. And I do want to address a comment that was left on this particular video. I'm not going to put it up on the screen because I know we've gone kind of long here. But there was this one particular comment that I responded to that I want to. I said I was going to do a video on this, but I ended up not making the video on it. I should have. I wrote a whole wall of text too about this. Shout out to Bria Barrows. Normally we don't really get too many comments from women that are very friendly, and definitely not from Black women, because our type of content does not really appeal to that demographic. But this particular video did, because Twitch Boss had a lot of fans all over the place. Bria Barrows said, "Society is also extremely isolating these days. I truly feel for people who don't have family and friends to lean on, because the loneliness life can come with can be brutal. Sometimes people suck at caring, and it's always the caring people who get the short end of the stick." And my response to that was, sometimes that's not even enough. There's shame in looking at death as an option. There's shame in not being grateful or happy around family members. Though having an actively caring family does mitigate the damage that could lead one over the edge, I think the survivors need to know that in most cases, there was nothing they could really do to prevent the outcome. Her response was, "Great video. So what would you say is the solution then? How do we help people around us? This is scary and it can be triggering. Do we just let people die?" And this makes me very emotional to think about this, because I had a friend that I was very, very close to that I think just unilaterally decided he didn't want anything to do with me. And I remember having a conversation with him when he came to my house and basically let me know, like, hey, I'm going to opt out. I failed at my attempt to opt out of life, but I really can't handle this anymore, and it's time to go. And I was so grateful for the opportunity that he gave me to look him in the eye and be able to say my goodbyes. But what I told him was this: I would rather you be here, but it is not my decision. I know the pain that you carry with you on a day in and day out basis. And I can see why you feel like you can carry this baggage only but a few more steps before you have to put it down. But if it were my choice, whether you lived or died, I would rather you live. But since it's your choice, I have to respect your decision. I have to. I have no other choice but to do that. I'm going to choose to remember you the way that I want to remember you. A lot of the jokes when we lived in the shelter, you know, we were both throwaways, living on the street as teenagers. You know, he lifted me out of a lot of darkness in those days, just with jokes. You know, he bought the cheap PS2 with a cheap little screen, and we used to watch movies on this little 2.5-inch screen that our face would be like up on the screen because the screen was so small. And he would call it Punch and Pie, because we used to buy the Entenmann's pies that would go on sale and buy some juice, and we would sit there. We would cut the pies. We would sit there, eat the slices, and watch movies together in the homeless shelter. Right? Like, I'll never forget the positive impact that he has had on my life, but I can't make the decision for him. I can't tell him where to find the joy in life. I can't bear his pain. I don't know what it's like to be him. And this is what I would tell Miss Bria. This is what I would tell her. Do we just let people die? You do everything in your fucking power to make them want to live. But if that's not enough, you're going to have to make your peace. And I know that sounds, it makes me very emotional thinking about this. It sounds very cold. And maybe you can't see the humanity in that. But whether we like it or not, self-termination is a part of our lives. And since it is a reality, the same way guns existing, right? I think that even your most staunch 2DA guy, I think most staunch gun supporters, if you gave them the opportunity to erase all records of bombs and guns and the knowledge of them, I think most people would take that. Would take that for reality. But the thing is, you can't do that. And when it comes to self-termination, I wish that it was never a thing. I really wish that it never existed. But since it does, we have to have our reckoning with it. We have to come to some sort of grips with the fact that it does exist, and then forgive yourself and forgive those who struggle with suicidal ideation. Because when they're gone, your anger towards them only hurts you anyway. They're already gone.